as always.
I am thankful. I just want to acknowledge you, Catherine. That's an extraordinary story. Thank you for sharing it. And also, please excuse my tardiness. I was on a call with clients and co-counsel. We have a really important argument coming up that we're hoping the United States Supreme Court is going to be taking. So we were going over our work in that space, and it ran a little bit long. So excuse my tardiness. This is a wonderful, obviously, group of people. Dr. Michelle Gamble, as always, that you've assembled, heart-centered, impacting the world, the important issues at stake. So thank you for doing this. And yeah, I am here at your service.
Yay. Thank you so very much, Sean. And thank you, Catherine. And part of why I moved into the frame of asking for a fun fact is because as we look at expanding our influence mastery, we are able to shift from one zone and one emotional state to another in order to facilitate the process of people being able to receive what we're able to share. So I greatly appreciate you having the vulnerability of sharing your story. And I will dare to say that the majority of us on this call have an understanding of the importance of what you're doing and saying.
Thank
For
you.
me, it's a personal reality that I was sexually abused as a child. And it is very important for me that this issue becomes more prominent, especially in our African American community, because it is an issue that we tend to not want to deal with. And it has tremendous impact, not only on the individuals, but on their ability to have healthy relationships with others. So thank you again, Catherine. And
Yeah.
now we're going to move to our judge, one of our judges, the wonderful, lovely Donna Grooms, who is master gardener, real estate agent extraordinaire. I tell you, this woman, she could do it all. And during the Teen Leadership Summit, she's going to teach us how to grow some herbs to make us feel good. And we have to make sure we bring some good pot. Right, Donna?
All right. Yummy.
So
I'm ready.
obviously that's a pun on words. And
But it works.
yes, you will need pots. And yes, these herbs will make you feel good. But it's not what everybody thinks. So I look forward to doing
Oh,
so sorry.
Gerald, like, man, darn.
snap my
I was
fingers.
looking forward to the good stuff.
Oh man. So yes, I am a realtor here in New Jersey. I work central New Jersey, basically Middlesex and Somerset counties. I've been a real estate agent for over 3 years. I've been very successful. I've I've managed to earn the Circle of Excellence Award. This will be Last year was my first year. This will be my second year because I've already achieved it, and the year's not even over.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yay!
COVID has not stopped me, it has promoted me, as a matter of fact.
Accelerated.
Accelerated me. So I'm very happy with that. And I give a large part of the credit to Unblinded because, self mastery, marketing mastery, influence mastery, all of that. I was doing that in my job and didn't understand the process and the importance of it all. And now that I do understand it somewhat, I'm still learning. I'm not saying I know it all. I don't. I'm still a novice, but I know some of the things that I've changed in my approach has, escalated my business tremendously. So
Awesome, Donna.
thank you very much.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
All righty. So the
To
next
the
person
point
that
where
we
I
have,
can't attend a lot of these things any longer, but I still make an effort in doing so. So thank you. Thank you.
yay. So the
we
last person
appreciate
I'm
you.
going to introduce is Gerald Barnes. And Gerald is phenomenal. He's in stealth mode, the undercover brother in the team. But
Dr.
Gerald
Michelle
Yeah.
is
is whipping,
so,
Michelle is whipping out her fun energy. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm
I love
telling
it.
you today.
well, let me tell you, this dude, do not sleep on him, okay? I will tell you what he just did. He was able to connect us to Melissa Harvey German, who is the first African American female owner of NASCAR team. And he has he has convinced her to not only participate in our teen leadership summit, but we are working on her to bring a NASCAR to Brunswick, Georgia for the teens to have fun with. I mean, they're not going to drive it, but you know what I mean. But I've got to give this brother his props. So go ahead, Gerald, undercover brother.
Well, all I can say is thank you for allowing me opportunity to come in and be in the midst of some of the most powerful people that I have met in just less than a year. When I went to New Jersey for the Unblinded emergence, I didn't know what I was walking into. I had sight loss and challenges with vision and able to see some, but not well enough to function in my normal capacity as a sales professional, an entrepreneur in the business world, getting around transportation wise and things of that nature. But when I went up to New Jersey and saw what was going on, and then saw that young man up on stage saying that we can see what we can't see, my eyes opened up real wide. I have been in the cleaning supply industry for over 30 some odd years now, and meeting some of the major players in that industry, and also some of the largest buildings in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. I've done some strong business across the whole, as we call it, the DMV. But this gives me a stretch to come out of semi-retirement so that I can impact the cleaning community, which now, you know, COVID-19 has put us into a high level of wanting to be clean, disinfected, and protected. So that just took me from the last, which was, I don't want to put my hands in the bucket, I don't want to mop a floor, to the first, which is we got to have this building clean before we go anywhere. So I've been really able to build, learn, and with being a part of the Unblinded movement and really feeling being a part of it, it's just strengthened me to no end. And like I say, I stretch it out to anybody. God has blessed me with a gift that I can connect. You put it in the atmosphere, I'm going to take it on, and God's going to make it come through. And I'm excited about all that's going on, and I really appreciate being a part of this conversation here, and I see so many more coming.
Amen. All right. So,
Dr. Michelle, can I jump in for a moment?
yes, please.
Yeah. So, Gerald, incredible. Donna, everybody, Catherine, thank you. I feel, my name is Sean Callaghy, and I felt intensely stressed coming into this open. There's a lot happening. And yeah, it was just like, okay, there's a lot going on today. And this just created a scotoma for me, a blank spot by neuropsychology, because like there's unbelievably important missions that are present here that are like resonating with my heart and soul. So thank you for that. And just quick fun fact about me, because we always say it's you know, a positive thing to see things through a different prism and have a little fun with it. So I'm blind, and I was teaching a blind man to surf, Dr. Michelle, on Sunday. So Mike Armstrong, I taught him to surf. We're 60 yards out, 70 yards out in the sandbar in Long Beach Island, and he did an incredible job. And I have a little bit of peripheral sight. I can't see anything on the screen, so I'm able to see my fingers out here. I can't see anything in here, so I can kind of see a little bit out of the side of my eye, right? But not very far because it's not even, you know, strong vision there. But Mike Armstrong, who we're surfing with, he can't see anything, nothing. And so it was an incredible day to watch this awesome athlete, blind dude, surf 5 waves that he stood up on. And it just like filled my heart. And yeah, and so I'm the co-founder of Unblinded. what we're doing here is unlocking influence as a superpower, and it's my mission in life because change, positive things occur when good people come together to make great things happen and have the skills to do it, because those skills are important. Intention is beautiful, but if we're running east looking for a sunset, we got a problem. And so when our influence mastery is present and we know what to do with it, incredible things happen. And just to drop in what Catherine was saying, people close to me in my family, not me, not my children, right? But people close to me in my family have been the victims of sexual abuse, and I've spent an extraordinary amount of time, and I mean extraordinary, and resources supporting some of these folks, and working through the unbelievably complex and, I dare say, ill-prepared system of hospitals and others, and physicians even, and counselors maybe even, to deal with the incredible conditioning, traumas, and realities of that dynamic. So, Catherine, I acknowledge your incredible work. I've also been involved in substantially fundraising for Operation Underground Railroad. I had an honor and privilege to do it, and have been a personal supporter in what I perceive to be a meaningful way by anybody's standards. And so, Dr. Michelle Gamble, again, awesome group of heart-centered people. Thank you for doing this, and back to you.
Okay, so next we're going to roll it over to Pastor Kamayu Dickerson. And as I mentioned before, our organization, It Takes a Village Ministry, we scour and we look across the globe for key individuals that we can identify with, that we see as being potential in exponentially growing in their impact and their influence so that they can create tremendous programs to serve our communities on a global basis. We talk about creating global change through local movement, and there is no bigger of a mover and a shaker in a local environment that I can think of than the phenomenal Pastor Kamayu Dickerson. So, Pastor Kamayu, please introduce for us some of our other guests.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be a part of this great organization and what we are about to do, the many lives that we're about to impact. I too am very passionate about providing services for youth. Of course, I'm a pastor, but I also coach in the childcare industry. So I would like to just really just express my total gratitude to you, Catherine, for sharing that story. For so many people deal with these issues and don't have enough courage. I didn't have enough courage to open up what happened to me until I was older. So I bless you, and it's so great to meet you and hear your story. But just not to prolong time, I have on with me my guest today, Raquel Eversley. She's my events coordinator for my ministry, and she does a whole lot of other phenomenal things. And I'm gonna let her share her thoughts. I don't see my other guest on. I'm not sure if he's on, but it would be Mike Patterson, and
And you
he is.
have Pastor Riles also.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Pastor Rouse, I'm sorry. And Pastor Rouse is on as well. So I have some phenomenal guests on with me, and I'll let them, if this is the right order, to introduce what they do and what they in their special area and how special they are.
Sister Raquel.
Okay. Again, I'm Raquel. I am a certified science teacher. I'm also a certified life coach. I typically love to work with at-risk youth. Um, I am I'm leaving one job in the nonprofit sector, going back into the classroom as a virtual science teacher at an alternative school, um, wherein that's my passion. Um, and I must say, over this past year, a lot of incredible things happened in my life. A major shift, formed a company, two companies, and I wrote a book. We're finishing my son's book. He's 6 years old. He was honored by the NAACP this January for he asked me about October. His birthday is January 20th, and he asked me in October, "Mommy, when my birthday come out, I want to have a birthday party. I want to serve the homeless." And I looked at him like, "Okay." So we made that happen. Served served the homeless, and it was such an amazing experience for him and for myself. Because I in that time I ran into a couple of my former clients, and I was able to reach them and try and talk to them and give them some guidance and get them involved in programs that would help them um, reach self-sufficiency. So I'm honored to be a part of this. Recently, the most recent thing, being involved with the Ahmaud Arbery um, rallies and things like that. I write poems. My book is a book of poems, and I read a poem there, and I've been asked to speak several times, and I'm just like, oh my God, y'all don't know who I am. But then God kind of, no, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you're not these negative things that you've been taught to believe in. And Miss Kathy, I appreciate you sharing your story, because I wrote about the sexual abuse I experienced as a 11-year-old girl, and just what that was like. And I was saying I don't like Fridays, and I found myself on Friday evenings when I get off work, I ride around my town. I'm like, why do I do this? And it was me avoiding going home, because of the trauma that I experienced 20 something years ago. And all these things has been revealed to me in 2020. And so um I'm so very grateful to be a part of this illustrious committee. I'm looking forward to doing great things. So that's
Yay.
enough
And
about me.
she did not share this fun fact about herself, but I'm going to go
Oh,
there. This woman is so phenomenal. She went into an interview, and
oh,
not only did she come out with the job, but she came out with a promotion. Now, how do you do that? I don't know, but she is that bad, I tell you. So now we're going to roll on over to Pastor Riles to wrap up our guests so that we can move on with this rocking and rolling. Pastor Riles, and I'm going to ask Kamayu Dickerson to once again introduce Pastor Riles because of that connection.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so grateful for Pastor Rouse. We go back a few years. I was a former Job Corps student and turned into staff, and we knew one another from that relationship. Always had a great relationship, and now I'm thankful that we have circled around and come back to building another relationship and helping our communities, as well as working in this great journey of spreading the gospel throughout the world. So I'm grateful to be a part of his life and connected to him. And without further ado, I introduce Pastor Raj.
Okay, Riles. And another thing is that he is the co-founder of It Takes a Village Ministry. So, Pastor Riles, you want to share a fun fact about yourself?
I can't think of one right now. maybe, maybe I'll think of one a little bit later on because I'm in a solemn mood. Uh, anyway, my name is Ernest Rouse, and I feel like I'm on the Oprah Winfrey Show because I too have been at 5 years old sexually abused. Didn't know too much about it then. Didn't even think about it at that time. But as I grew older, and like the young lady said, I had some mental issues that I didn't really know why was happening to me. But anyway, I thank the lady from Maine for her story for being open and honest with that. I worked with children all my life. I've been an academic coach, an athletic coach. I worked at Job Corps with Pastor Kamai Dickinson. And so that's been my passion all over the years. Michelle Gamble and I did a teen idol program drug prevention program for our county. It was a very whopping success. So I'm on board. I'm excited about this venture, and I'm excited to meet all the wonderful, marvelous, dynamic people that's a part of this particular program that we're trying to launch here. Also, want to keep in mind, I don't know if Michelle has told you, but we need to be introduced to, if you know any philanthropists, because we do need some funds, and we're going to do our best to do it locally here. But if you know any philanthropists that are passionate about what we're doing, please bring them on board with us. That's all I have. Back to you, Michelle.
Well, that's what's going to make you the first contestant in what we're going to do today, because what we are here for is to practice our influence mastery. And I'm going to roll it over to Sean.
Okay, so yeah, let's drop in right there. So how about what we're doing is we're going to have, thanks, Dr. Michelle. So we're going to have 3 minutes to go from hello to yes with people. And isn't that how it all works? Isn't that how everything happens? It's how we stop violence. It's how we have people stay off drugs. It's how we have incredible connections and businesses built. And it's how we have the opposite. It's how we have families created and destroyed, right? Communities created and destroyed. Like the ability or inability to go from hello to yes. And that's what it's all about. So each of you, it's not about a sale. It's about a yes. And it could be just a yes to get to a longer meeting. It could be about charity and contribution. It could be about a sale for a coaching client, perhaps, or life coaching. It could be to enroll somebody in an educational program or process. So whatever it is that you want. But Dr. Michelle, what might be fun and interesting, because I don't know, I sometimes do donate things. I might actually be a philanthropist. Maybe the pastor would kick it off and I could be the role player. What do you?
Yeah,
what
that sounds like a plan. Awesome. All righty, Pastor Riles, you're in the hot seat.
Yeah, I think I'm in the hot seat, but we're both in the hot seat. So here we go, right? So yeah, I'm just me. And we're just meeting here. And how would you approach, Pastor, going from hello to yes with me about what you're up to?
Okay, so did you get that, Riles?
Get somebody else. I'm just getting home, so I'm trying to get myself situated. So can you start with someone else?
Okay, we'll come back to you then.
I have a quick question though. So there's a philanthropic opportunity, sir, and you're looking for philanthropists. I'm teasing a little bit, but not fully. So you sure you want to miss this moment? I have a feeling it might be not a moment to miss, but that's just me thinking. But that's up to you, Dr. Michelle.
Just get back to me because I'm getting situated. I was driving, now I'm home, so I'm trying to get on board on the desktop.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we'll come back. Dr. Michelle, and who goes?
Okay, so you guys have heard what the deal is. The challenge is to see who can be most masterful in going from hello to yes. So the first thing is for you to think about what is the yes that you are seeking. And then we have our phenomenal, absolutely fantabulous role player, the undefeated Shakesha Foreman. Now she is going to be whomever you want her to be. And trust me when I say girlfriend can be whomever you want her to be. Okay? She is a tough guy. You'll have to see. So think about who it is that you want to have this conversation with. It can be a CEO of a company. It could be one of those, pain in the butt people on your board or your staff that you're trying to get to say hello to yes. It can be any person. Who wants to go first? Who's up for the challenge?
I'll go.
Woohoo! Catherine! Yay! Okay, so let Shakesha know who you would like her to be.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
Woohoo!
Okay, I want her to be a philanthropic person who's tied to the movie making industry.
I like it.
Like it.
We got 3 minutes. Catherine, please take us in.
Good afternoon. I really appreciate you taking my call. I know you are a very busy person, and I just have to say I love your work, and I'm really honored and I promise not to waste your time. So I'll just jump right in. You and I both know the value of movies, the value of videos in educating and changing the cultural norm in a community. Would you agree with that?
You're muted. Shakesha, you're muted. Shakesha, you are muted.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Hello, but I just want to know, how did you get my private number? How are you speaking to me?
You're
How did you get in here? You know, like,
your personal assistant gave me your number, told you in advance that I was calling, so you took the call.
oh, confident young lady. I like that. Okay. All right.
So
what was my question again?
So the question is, would you agree that you believe that video movies are a great way of educating and changing the cultural norm?
Well, I agree that it makes a lot of money. It's money making. Yes.
And do you believe that movies can change people's minds about things?
Yes.
We see eye to eye on that. And, I believe that every state in the United States has their own hometown heroes. If it's, the Boston Celtics, if it's the Patriots, in Maine, if it's the lobsterman or the game warden, every state in the United States has people, an organization that they consider a hero that they look up to. And what I'm doing is I'm creating videos for each state in the United States using their own hometown hero as the star to educate that community, that state, about how to keep children safe within their community. For instance, using a lobster woman in the state of Maine, and she's a woman, and she's on a boat, and she's standing in front of all this electronics, and she says, my great grandfather used to fish these grounds, and how they would teach his son and his next son was by word of mouth. But now we have all this electronics. Now we can hunt for fish anywhere. It's endless where we can hunt for fish now. Likewise, predators are using the internet to hunt our children. And it's up to us to use the parental controls and understand how to keep our kids safe on the internet. So that's the kind of educational video I want to do for Maine. And each state, their own hometown hero and their own story, in order to bring everybody in the community up to being a superhero for that community. Is that a project that you would like to know more about or be willing to partner with?
20 seconds to go.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like I should, but I don't know. Something's not right for me.
Would you be willing to have another meeting at another time? I can bring some of my my athletes, some of my star athletes. I know you're a big basketball fan. I'd like to bring one of, I don't know, Bill Russell to come, and I've got his backing, and we could sit down with you and have a conversation about it. Would you be willing to do that?
Well, I want to meet Russell, but something's just not right, Kat. It's something that's not right. I like you, but something's not. So I don't know. I'm not a yes. Something's missing.
What would it take? What is that something? What would it take to get a yes from you? How can I bring you a little further down?
I think you're handling me too much. I feel very handled, like fish.
Well,
like
I hear
moving me.
I hear you, and that's the last thing in the world I want to do. So maybe we could start over again with, hi, I'd like to save some children's lives by using movies that you make.
All right, Catherine, let's pause there. Catherine.
Oh,
Wait,
oh, now you didn't say it.
Shkeisha, what a
We're
great.
gonna
Oh,
pause right
okay.
there.
Well,
We're gonna pause
yeah,
right
I'd like
there.
to talk about that.
You're
We're gonna
Bill,
pause
bring
there.
Bill with you. But yeah, I would like to talk about that. How you doing? I like you.
Okay,
Yes.
Well,
we're
let's
gonna pause it right there.
Time. Shkeisha, awesome job. Dr. Michelle Gamble, this is a world-class role player. This is amazing. Catherine, what a great job of leaning in with a scotoma. It's like, oh, let's start again. Let's say, so, like, it was such an awesome confront and lean in with such great energy and certainty. Awesome job. So, Dr. Michelle, let's go to the judges, eh?
Yeah, we have our judge, Donna.
Okay. Donna, what do you have?
Actually, Catherine actually did that twice, I think. Once with the scotoma that you mentioned, Sean.
Yeah.
Once when she was making the analogy with the superheroes and hunting on, our children are hunting, and she made the analogy, so are predators. So that made me even look up from what I was writing, because it stopped me. So that was that was one scotoma that really drew me in.
Yeah.
And then when Sakesha said, "I'm not sold yet, you don't have a yes yet," she physically got closer and said, "Let's start over." I was like, wow. How many times have we been in a situation where we all wanted to say, you know what, let's rewind, can I start over? And she actually did it, and it worked, and immediately it worked. So I gave her a 9.
Yeah. And what I love, Donna, is that was awesome. Your analysis was the certainty. Like, she did heart-centered certainty of like, okay, it wasn't like, let's start over like I'm defensive. It was like, let's start over and like, boom, because clearly you're not hearing me.
Right.
And clearly I'm not getting my message across. So let's start over and like, boom, let's save some children. It's like, boom, like, so yeah. Excellent, Donna. Dr. Michelle, are you also judging, giving feedback?
Gerald.
Oh, Gerald. Okay.
Yeah, it was fabulous. What I saw was, and most times when you get such objection, you just say, "Oh, forget it. I'm not going to go in." But as you said, and I'm not seeing what's going on, I'm hearing what's going on. I felt the lean moving closer, even though you were getting rabbit punches at you, knocking you backwards. You still were moving forward, and then you took a stand and said, "Let me go. Let's start this all over again." And then you went with the, as my man Bruce Willis said, head or gut. You went for the gut, and you got her, and she just exploded with, "I got to be a part of this." I give you a 9.5. It was
awesome.
powerful.
Awesome.
And by the way, Catherine, Bill Russell, like, that's an awesome ecosystem merger. Great job, and great job for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that man has, I think, a whole bunch more rings than Michael Jordan. So
Yes,
that's
indeed.
yeah, right. Is that right? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to roll it over to Pastor Ernest Riles, and Sean is going to do the role play. So go for the gusto.
All right. So I'll be me, Pastor. So yeah, let's talk. What's happening? Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So I heard that you're looking to maybe have a conversation with somebody who has philanthropic possibilities, and I might be one of those people. So yeah, what's happening?
So your goal is to go from hello to yes in this conversation of 3 minutes.
Hello to yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you're going to try to bring me to a yes to whatever it is that your mission is and what you're up to.
You said, you made the statement that you needed philanthropists, and Sean gave you the challenge. Can you convince him to open his wallet? So you've got to go from hello to yes.
And it's real.
The area where I live, I would about the Michael Jackson song where they all got together with all those artists and recorded "We Are the World, We Are the Children." And then I often listen to Michael Jackson's song about I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So, what I would love to do, and the organization I work with, what we would love to do is make a difference in the world, not just in our local area, but globally. And to do that, we're going to need some necessary funds to make that happen. But our passion is our children, because they are not our future; they are our right now. With the accent of what they call it, the internet system technology, I had done a series on pornography, and trying to convince people that pornography has a great impact on our children. And they said, well, pornography's always been around. But I said, yes, it's always been around, but easy access to it to our children 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, right on down the chain. Our children now are talking like grown-ups at 10 years old. They are not having sex, they're going to bed. And that's what we're trying. And I heard Catherine talked about sex trafficking. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an environment where our children have a good shot at being the very best that they can be. So that's why I'm coming to you and interested in financing this venture.
So can I ask you a question, Pastor?
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the organization?
The organization is It Takes a Village Ministry, which includes everyone in the village that has a responsibility to looking out for each other. It's an old African proverb for many, many years ago that we take a look at it. And that matter of fact, back in the 50s and 60s, that's exactly the way we lived.
Yeah. And Pastor, thank you for that. It's a beautiful name. And what is it that you are like, what's It Takes a Village doing? So if you're raising funds, like what are some of the things that you guys are up to? And it's a beautiful mission to protect children from pornography, and to have these positive concepts and, protecting them from negative vibrational energy. So how are you guys doing that? Like what actually happens?
Well, we're getting ready to have a teen summit, and we're going to broadcast locally as well as globally. And we want to get the word out. Education is the key here, on educating our young people. We cannot force them to do anything, but we want to educate our young people on to empower them to be a success on their own. When I was growing up, at 18 years old, you had to make a decision whether you go to the military, go to college, or get you a job or something. In today's society, we're enabling our children up to 30, 40, 50 years old. Make an impact to know that, hey, I am somebody, and I can make a difference, and I can be a contributor rather than somebody who's taken. I can be somebody that gives. So we have programs to mentor programs. We have private counseling programs that we were trying to initiate. We have job seeking programs where we do private, what do you call it? Resumes, and also the interview process. So we are trying to.
We have 30 seconds to
Awesome.
wrap it up.
And do you have, so is this like a 501c3? Like
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We are a 501c3.
Okay. Could I ask Catherine a quick question? So Catherine, do you also have a 501c3 or no?
Yes, I've been a 501c3 nonprofit for 6 years.
Okay. So I'm moved, and I'd like to learn more about Pastor, what you're doing, Catherine, what you're doing. But I have my own 501c3, the Callagy Christian Foundation. And that was formed by tithing and some incredible things that happened in my life where we were, I had committed to do certain things. And it was amazing, some of the blessings and the things that have occurred in my life. And I'm, here to support great people on missions. And that's what the Callagy Christian Foundation is designed to do. So yeah, I'd love to learn more and begin to build a relationship, but I'd be happy to start our relationship, Pastor, with $1,000 donation, and Catherine, $1,000 donation to yours as well. From the Callagy Christian Foundation, my organization. So yes, and by the way, it's fully funded. I don't raise money. This is all my tithings that go into there. So thank you for being here today. I love what you're doing, and thank you for being forces for good in the world.
Now, Sean, was that still role playing, or do I get my $1,000?
You get your $1,000. You get your $1,000.
Thank you so much, Sean.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in with some of the coaching. And I'm going to be rough and tough on you guys because I love you. So I love you, Sister Catherine. I love you, Brother Rouse. I will begin by saying that you all both had superb certainty, and the same thing with Pastor Riles. What I will say is that I think the key step in the beginning is to create emotional rapport by getting to know your role player, by getting to know Sean, by getting to know Shakesha, because in doing so, you kind of skip to the end of the conversation where you have an idea of what is important to that person so that you can find out where you all synchronize and you can customize your proposal more to meet the heartbeat of that person. So, Pastor Riles,
Mm-hmm.
you knew absolutely nothing about Sean before you started asking him to open up his wallet. And so you would probably have gotten in another context the same kind of response that Catherine got when she started, trying to get a response from Shakesha, where you get a lot of pushback because you haven't built that emotional rapport to begin with. And you don't really know anything about that person before you say, oh, I want some money. So, with that in mind, I would give both you and Catherine a 7. Well, actually, I will give Pastor Riles a 7, but I would definitely give Catherine an 8.5 because she turned around and she realized,
Mm-hmm.
I've got to start over. I got to start over. I've got to make that connection with you.
Well, Dr. Michelle, I give them both 1,000. So
There you go. There you go.
And for my sake, when telemarketers call me, the first thing they ask me is, "How you doing?" I can't stand that. You don't know me, child. Why would you care how I'm doing? You're trying to sell me something or introduce something to me. So that's why I wasn't really concerned about Sean's heart. I was concerned about his paycheck.
So, but I
point well taken. No, point well taken.
Yeah. So, Pastor, yeah, great job. But I concur with Dr. Michelle Gamble. I think that I offer this with humility and respect, right? That it all depends on our intention. If we're going to meet somebody who we don't think that can help us out in any way, we're seeing a person walking down the street looking like they're in pain, and they drop something and we help them pick it up and like, hey, like, how you doing? We see somebody that's cleaning an office building. We're like, hey, like, how are you? How you doing? And we really show up that way for everybody. Then I think we're all good asking people how you're doing. But I agree with you, Pastor. If we're running around the world and the only people we're asking how they're doing are people that could do things for us, then it's inauthentic and not real. So when we're in our heart and we're loving everybody the same and communicating with everybody, then I think we're all good. But I really appreciate the mission, and I'm like overwhelmed with the vulnerability and the shares that happen here today. Like, this is real, and people are sharing like some of the most intimate, personal. I mean, like, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm immensely grateful. Yeah. So, Dr. Michelle Campbell, great job, and back to you.
Okay. And we have Gerald for coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Any suggestions, additions?
Show me the money is a great step, but building that rapport is definitely something you want to do, because 500 could be 5,000, 5,000 could be 50,000, but really connecting with somebody. And I know it was like a situation. I liked everything about it, and I knew that your intentions were exactly where you were going, because as soon as you got in the house and got settled, say, let me get this money.
No, oh, go ahead.
Let me get this money. And you went for it. And it's just everything for what you were doing, and then not having the actual training and things of that nature in this context. But now that you see some of the things that are coming out, it just makes that hello to yes even easier. And then it builds a rapport with somebody that you can go to them every time you have something, and it just say, hey, and then I'll say, what you need. and it just makes it easier as you continue to do that role play. So I would say we're looking at right at a 7.5 on this one.
Thank
Nice
you
job.
so much, Gerald. And I
I
greatly
know you
appreciate it.
normally don't do
And
three.
there's one other thing I got to add too, because it's on my spirit so heavy from Sean, from what you just said. There's a philanthropy group, and my good friend M. Gaffney Brown is one of the first, another first African American philanthropy group with two other women that she works with that would love to interact with all of you 501(c)(3)s. And I definitely want to connect that one there too.
Yeah,
That's just my little sidebar.
that's awesome, Gerald.
Sister
And
Donna,
I know you normally don't do three judges,
go
but
for it. Go for it, girl.
I'm agreeing with Gerald and also you, Dr. Michelle. Um, the one thing that came to mind for me was, okay, Sean donated $1,000 to each of the organizations, which I think it's wonderful.
Hmm.
But you want that to continue. You want to build that rapport, that relationship, in order to not to get to get more money in the future if you need it to grow. And with the technique that was used, Pastor Riles, yes, you were able to accomplish your donation for this time, but what about the next time? I don't know if you could go down that same path with Sean again to get additional funding if you should need it. So that's why the rapport is so important, because you open up a door, a gateway to have that relationship and that rapport, and to actually go back a second, third, or fourth time with Sean if he so chooses. So that's what came to mind for me. So I just wanted to say that.
awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Greatly appreciated. Next, we're going to roll over. Pastor Dickerson or Sister Raquel, who wants to go first? Okay, Raquel.
I will go first.
Okay, who do you want Shakesha to be?
She played the person asking the last time.
No, she's the person that you are seeking a yes from. So she can be anyone you want her to be.
Let me see. Who am I gonna ask? A CEO of a nonprofit group.
Okay.
A women's ministry group.
Okay, go for it.
I'm practicing.
Take it in.
So you got 3 minutes on the clock.
All right. Good afternoon, Miss Shakesha. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Raquel, and I know that you are the CEO of the
Yep,
Love
that's
by
right.
God ministry, and I looked into what you guys do. I'm really amazed at the progress that you guys have made. So first, I want to applaud you for what you're doing in the community, and I want to offer you a opportunity to be even greater in the community.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, I like people like you. You remind me when I was young like that. Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
And you got an opportunity?
yes, I have an
Your
amazing.
mama raised you right, girl. Mm-hmm.
I have an amazing opportunity. I'm with It Takes the Village Ministries. We're also a 501(c)(3) company, and we are hosting a teen summit event. It's a global event. I think the opportunity for you to show what Love by God Ministries is doing across the world, you know, to people across the world. So we do need funds, of course, because we do want to be able to empower these young women and young adults, teenagers, to have the opportunity to be a part of an event like this. And so, you know, a lot of times we don't want to just offer it to people who can't afford it. We want to offer it to people who cannot afford it. So in that realm, we need people like you who are already active and boisterous in the community to pour a little bit of your funds into us. And I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to connect and partner with you in this event and in future events. So what do you think about that?
Girl, see, I'm CEO because I control everything and other stuff.
I know that's right.
And I won my money. I got my money from lottery tickets. So I'm CEO. You know, I know how to look and act, but just between you and me, because you sound like down home. I like you. I like pour into me. See, you talking Bible talk. I like that. So yeah, let's talk some more. You know, I got people who will talk to your people. You know, I need figures.
Okay.
You know that paperwork and stuff. So do you have people who talk to my people?
Okay, we got 10 seconds.
Okay, yes, I have people who can talk to your people. If I could get your email address, and that way we can nail down a commitment of what you are willing to do.
Okay, yes. Yes, I'm gonna give you to one of my people who got my email address that we give to people who want some of my money. But they gonna take care of it. When you come back to see me, we're gonna have some sweet tea.
Yes.
I like you.
With living.
Okay.
I gotta go now. Gotta go.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to roll it over to our judges. Sister Donna.
I think Raquel, you did very well by building rapport in the very beginning. I guess you were listening to all of the critiques,
right?
Made sure you didn't make the same mistakes. So that was really good. And I did notice that too. So you were building rapport by mentioning all of the great work she did in the community. And I thought that was great. And you validated her work. That was even better because not only did you recognize it, you put a stamp of your personal approval on it. So that's why you built that rapport and you got that connection with her to the point where she invited you back for sweet tea.
I need some sweet tea, by the way.
And also you talked about your own mission, which was getting funding for your event that was coming up. I think if you would have at some point when you were describing what you want the money for, and after you described it, I think you could have stopped right there and let her interject, and perhaps she would have given you a number right then and there, instead of saying, I'll have your people call your people. I think pause and silence can work to your advantage. You eventually did get the agreement, and your people are meeting with her people at some point. But I think if you could have paused, asked for some response from her earlier in the conversation, you probably would have gotten a number.
Okay.
All righty. So I would give you an 8.
Gerald? Gerald?
Gerald, you're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was making too much noise over here. I noticed that. Everything fell right into place. You got that emotional rapport from almost the beginning, and everything that you added to just kept building and building. And like Donna said, that pause and bringing her even closer to you so you could find out maybe what range could you go or something like that. It wasn't very important at that time, but it would have been nice to just start off with the range. And then the other thing too, a lot of times, and I know it's kind of going back to the old school, but when you build a rapport like you just did, an email address is good, but a phone call to get to that email address would have made it even more of a rapport building situation, that you would still have that personal connection as far as the voice, opposed to getting caught up in the emails and things of that nature, so that when your email showed up, oh, I got to reply to that one right now and not have it fall down the list. So I'd say right there, it was an 8,
Okay.
kind of moving toward an 8.5, but more so an 8.
Thank you. Thank you, Gerald.
I
Okay,
pass.
Dickerson, you're up and running. Who do you want Shakesha to be?
I would like her to be internationally known youth speaker who is known all across the nation on speaking to youth and empowering youth. How's that sound?
Let's go for it. 3 minutes on the clock.
Good afternoon, Ms. Foreman. How you doing?
Okay, okay. Are you?
Good. And my name is Pastor Kamaya Dickerson, and I should like to start out by saying I only called you Miss Foreman because I'm so honored and humbled to be able to speak to you at this moment. So I'm not disrespecting you by age, but I'm just honored and humbled to have this opportunity to speak with you. And I know your time is not that long, but I wanted to ask a question before I go into what I would like to talk to you about. Is what gives you your passion? What gives you the drive to do what you're doing all across the nation?
Oh, wow. People don't ask me that often. Uh, and I kind of lose being in touch with that. So thank you. Just give me a moment to think. Um, uh, just speaking to people, being heard, that somebody want to hear what I have to say. That really brings passion.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna put that in my notes because I love speaking as well, and I definitely would love to become a powerful speaker like yourself. I'm with It Takes a Village Ministries, and we are preparing for a internationally global movement for teenagers. And we would love for you to be a part of this great event. We are focused in on empowering our teenagers, which I have seen you do over and over again. I just was watching a YouTube video, and man, that message on living life to your fullness really moved me. And I believe in this season, in this time, we need great speakers like you. How you feel about that? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think we need leadership in this season?
Yes, and I like your mission, empowering teenagers. Um, yeah, I like that. Um, I'm kind of thinking of my schedule. We in toward the well, it's really like toward the end of the year, but I'm looking to see if I can squeeze you, in my,
You're on mute.
Okay.
Shakesha, you're on mute. You can go ahead, Dickerson.
Well, we would love to have you. The event is on September 26th, and we will be. It will be also virtually. We have it locally and virtually. That means we'll be in-house and virtually. We're talking about all across the nation. I know you're already known but this will give you more exposure. This will give you more of a platform as well, and it will just be empowering to our youth. For our youth are dealing with a lot of things right now, and I thank you for considering. But we would love to have a commitment from you, just to spend 1 hour with us, just to hear your voice, our young people to hear your voice, as well as the parents that know that we have you on our roster. I believe would really be life changing. So again, thank you for this time. Thank you for this experience for me. This has been life changing for me. Just the tip you gave me is going to help me to become a better speaker. And we are honored to have had this opportunity with you. And I'm just grateful, and just like to know whatever commitment you can give, we will be grateful.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, we can do something. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we can do something.
okay. Thank you. All righty. Brother Gerald. You're on mute, Gerald.
All right, there I go. Um, the hello to yes was there. Um, it just flowed so easily. Um, it really didn't. I'm lost for words because it just flowed so easy. I was looking for some objections, but it just didn't happen, and nothing was missed. So I guess I really don't have any comment on that one.
And your score?
Yeah, I give him an A5 on that one.
All righty. Sister Donna.
Okay. I love your line of questioning. I think it serves so many different purposes. It number one, you made a connection right off by asking that question. And she even said, not many people ask me that. Thank you. She even thanked you. Wow. So that was a great question. I thought your even your next question, which was great, and I'm sorry I didn't write the question down, but I just wrote the line of questions that you asked were spot on. I felt your level of sincerity. You were very compelling, and you were heartfelt. And then when you wanted to confirm her commitment, I was lost because I didn't know what happened, because her commitment wasn't as strong as I would have thought it should have been. And she was like, I don't know what I can commit to, but I'll do something. I think I would have asked another question, or even said, you know what, I hear your hesitation. How can I help you make this work? What's stopping you from fully committing to this event? And that would have been the last question you would have asked. She would have said, you know what, whatever that was, you could have doused that uncertainty in her mind and gotten that firm commitment. So I mean, your line of questioning was there. I think one more question, you would have nailed it. So, because you had everything, you had all the elements, you had sincerity, you had, the influence over her until the very end. So I'm going to give you an 8.5.
Awesome. And I want to concur with Donna that you were running at a 10 until you got to the end, because you had that connection, you had that validation. She was eating out of your hands. You made that, you interjected the specifics about, oh, I've been looking at your videos. I was just awesome. And she was just like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then you got to the end and she's like, ah. And then you were like, ah. And so it kind of flopped. Perhaps if you had said at that point, you know, and you started, because you said, all I need is an hour. And if you had put it into an extension like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, what works best for you in the morning or in the afternoon? But we have got to have you, because you had that certainty in the beginning, but you just kind of dropped the ball just before you made it to the home run. You know, so I would definitely agree with Donna in terms of the 8.5. Sean, we're going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think outstanding job by everybody. We are complete with our participants, correct, Dr. Gamble?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I would say fantastic job for everybody. My overall input would be to realize, as Dr. Gamble has shared, to open the listening, to put something at stake, to powerfully like convey who and what we are, and to move into agreement formation. So when you think about like your upcoming events or Catherine's mission, it's build rapport, understand like what is at stake for people, and what's at stake often for people who would be donating is that it connects to their heart and their mission. And there could be things that don't happen if they don't end up saying yes. And then as you're conveying like who and what you are, I think it's critical to have people realize that if they're going to be donating, investing, right, their energy, time, and heart into what you're doing, that it's going to work. That like it's not, yeah, we're gonna like, it's like, this is how it's going to work. This is a success story. This is what we're up to. You know, this is my past. Why you can trust that these funds are going to be well stewarded and they're going to have a multiplier impact by what's happening, and like even communicating, you know, that way in that space. Fantastic. And I agree with what Donna said earlier. With when you're seeking agreement, it's like perpetual agreement. It's like, hey, like, thank you, you know, great, awesome, we're doing this. Like, what would you need to see to continue our relationship? How can we keep you informed, keep you a part of things? So yeah, you're creating that ecosystem merger, and just really receive this, right? People do things because it makes sense for them. Period. Right? People, Mother Teresa did what she did because I believe, like, right, that she believed that it was her mission and her call to please God. So she did it to make herself feel good that she was pleasing God incredibly selflessly, right? With a lot of what was going on, but still self-focusedly because it made her feel good. So just remembering everybody you're going to be communicating with. Some people want to give money to feel better about themselves, right? Some people want to give money because they want to honor God. Some people want to give money because they think there's going to be a business benefit to them. And that's okay too. There's galas and fundraisers. I just had this conversation with Kirk Adams and the American Foundation for the Blind a couple hours ago today. Some folks, right, do things for a mixture of beautiful reasons, but we all, you know, do things as it relates to us, right? And there's galas in New York where big companies go, they buy tables because they're like, yeah, I'm going to get to meet other people who are doing things. So I'll charitably do something. We'll all join forces in a room, and I'll get to meet incredible people by being here. So just remembering that everything everybody's doing, there's nothing wrong with it, is because there's like something there for them. That's why some people go and buy lemonade. Some people go and buy organic something. It's what matters to them. So beautiful job. Yeah, Dr. Gamble, any final?
Thank you, Sean, for that wonderful distinction that as we enter into conversations with people, it is not simply a matter of asking them to give, but rather it's an invitation for them to share what is most important to them and to honor what it is that they are seeking, for them to be able to see the opportunity to realize their dreams through your various ministries. So I thank you for being here today. I thank you for being vulnerable in going through this wonderful, exciting little adventure together. And my prayer is that this will help you to open doors, open hearts, and change lives.
Dr. Gamble, you know why? Because we are all blind and just learning
to see.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.